You are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 36. Don't call her Shart.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the show that will Google that for you. I am Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
I'm Raven Perez.
And we are back again for a new episode. We've got a lot of exciting things to talk about. It is the new year. We're actually recording this on the second. I guess it's
First.
It's the first.
the first of the new year.
Heck yeah.
We're going to be taking a look back at Savage Dragon throughout the last year. We're going to talk about what other stuff we've been reading during the last year. Then, of course, we've got our regular news, trivia, new feature that Craig will talk about later. And, of course, we're going to be talking about the newest issue, Savage Dragon 201.
It's a cram-packed episode.
Sure is.
Sweet.
Got a lot of good stuff to go through. So won't we kick it off, chappies, by starting with the year in review?
It's been a pretty crazy year, actually.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Especially for Savage Dragon. Holy crap.
Well, it started off with 193 with Malcolm taking over the book and ended with 200, on the high note of that anniversary issue. So it's pretty exciting.
And in addition, you also had Nancy in Hell, which is Malcolm's official first crossover. And I wasn't on that FinCast episode. I'm not going to eat up a ton of time blabbing about it, but I do want to relish this chance to say that I seriously did love that. I think it was underrated big time. I think it was really high quality, and if you get a chance, I think it's a really good pickup for your Savage Dragon collection.
Well, I'll say at the time I didn't have a copy. A few months later, a digital version finally came out, and I finally read it, and I agree, it was actually really good.
I really liked it. And
it was really visually interesting, and the story was pretty good. I mean, it felt a little bit short being a one-shot, but I thought that overall it worked great.
Oh.
Yeah, I was ready to blow it off. I thought it was going to be just kind of like done by somebody that doesn't know anything about Dragon and just kind of half-assed in a way to get like a big character in their book. But
yeah, there was kind of like an anti-hype coming into it. Like
it was Nancy in Hell crossed over with Savage Dragon, and it was a Nancy in Hell comic,
right,
with Malcolm in it. But the cool thing was you had like guest star like the Fiend as a villain, which we hadn't seen in forever,
right.
And it made perfect sense because she's still in Hell. And it was just kind of a fun little nod, and they played the characters right.
And in addition, I mean, like I said, it just really Savage Dragon fans, like the guy, you read the little end cap there by the author at the end, and it's just like talking about how he's always been a fan, and he's really always wanted this, and you could tell, like, really, as you read it, you're like, wow, this guy does know what he's talking about. And then you read the last thing, he's like, yeah, I've always wanted, it's a dream come true to have this crossover. It was really good. So much better than I thought it'd be.
Yeah.
Giant-sized Kung Fu Bible stories, in addition.
Oh, yeah.
Which I have not read yet.
The introduction of Jack Champion.
Yeah, it's just cool. Just being a treasury size and seeing Erik's art blown up like that. I thought some of the other creators, some of the other stories weren't as good. I don't feel like everyone did their all, but I think for the price of the book, the Bruce Timm story and the Erik Larsen story was well worth it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're getting your money's worth. Even, I agree. I don't think everyone brought home the bacon necessarily, but even if you just take those two, like I liked Otley's, even if you take those two into consideration, it was still like a hell of a thing. That's why I think, even though it's funny, because like Jim said, when you look back and see that it was only from 193 to 200, it's kind of like, wow, is that 7 issues in 12 months? But it was a hell of a year anyway.
Yeah.
Just a
definitely.
swirl of excitement and announcements and stuff. Do you guys?
And I think with this year, it just kind of brought in a whole breath of fresh air with Larsen, with Malcolm taking over the book. Some of the things he did in this past year on Savage Dragon were just pretty amazing. Some of the new characters he introduced. You got that double splash page issue.
Mm-hmm.
You got some villains like Torment, which was he was a really cool looking dude. Maxine's development in the book, like everyone's development, Frank's development, just some real good storytelling, good, kind of high school level, college level writing. Like, I mean, in terms of writing it from the eyes of a high school or college kid, I thought Erik really nailed it.
Oh yeah, the way that the voice of the kids, and then there was the evolution to 2-up art. So
yes, huge.
Yeah, that happened this year.
And a return of the comic strips to the back in addition, like the funnies sort of began this year.
And Vanguard came back, and
yeah.
It's been awesome. I mean, it's been a really, when you look at all this stuff that has happened, I think even Dart has just the leaps and bounds in Dart. Dart's kind of not, I wasn't really super jazzed about Dart, but Dart's become such a badass. There was the whole Nick Cardy homage that had that bizarre, timeliness with, Nick Cardy's death.
Right. Yeah, with the homage cover.
196 homage.
Yeah, definitely. I tell you, one of my favorite Savage Dragon issues of all time that happened this year, was 194 with the one with Torment, with those couple of those splash pages that were just. That wasn't the one with Torment. Which one was that? The one with the splash pages was that Torment with the building?
194 was Torment, and that was the one with the building.
Yeah. Those pages in that book. I think that was the first Twice Up book.
It was, I think, yeah.
I remember correctly, we were pretty down on 193.
Yeah.
In terms of a jumping on point.
Yeah,
but 194 really blew it out of the water.
Yeah. We were hateful.
Yeah. Well, I do think it was approached a little bit weirdly, but and I think a little bit nervous based on that issue for the rest of the series coming up. But 194 with that Twice Up art and that Torment character and buildings flying all over the place, like that artwork in there, I just remember talking about that and being so excited when we were discussing that on the FINcast.
Oh yeah,
because that book just blew me away, and I consider that probably one of my favorite issues of the series right now.
I remember because it was we were like, oh no, what a lukewarm beginning, and then when 194 came out, we were like, you totally redeemed yourself.
Right.
In addition, R.I.P. Lightning Powers, 2014.
That's right.
You left us too soon.
It was.
You left us too soon, Lightning Powers.
You think that they're going to be gone forever, or you think that they'll come back somehow?
I think they're gone for the foreseeable future.
I think,
barring some kind of cosmic event,
I would love to see them come back, but because I think they were one of the things that made Malcolm unique. But I just think it'll be interesting to see. I think they're coming back. It'll just be down the road, but.
Do you think they'll just come naturally back, or there'll be some sort of he'll get electrocuted and they'll come back?
Wouldn't that be great? Something like that, Well, his body's naturally able to handle electricity, so you gotta wonder,
Yeah, maybe we'll get hit by Thor.
Maybe he'll get kicked by a mule.
Make him cross-eyed and give his lightning power back.
That's it. He'll be like, it's clobbering time.
Yeah, 2014 we saw Herringbone Seed. First appearance and death.
Intro and outro.
But that was a great scene. Remember that splash where Malcolm's just whipping those chains, like the troll-made chains or the demonoid chains or whatever they are.
Right.
Yeah.
And he just cuts that dude in half. But the action and the sense the fluidity of that page with the chains flying all around. That's probably one of the cooler splash pages.
All that Wrecking Ball
ever.
stuff was just bad ass.
Yeah.
And Belco Chemicals really stepped up as an actual character, I think.
Well, not yet. Coming up, I'm going to have opinions on that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can save it for that, but we did, with the Uglies Unlimited and everything, and you think that was kind of put away, and then it shows back up again in 201. But
yeah. My big concern about Belco Chemicals was that they were kind of a faceless monolith, and I didn't really care anything about what they did.
Right.
But
it was funny. They started to ooch into the more and more, like, again, we'll say we don't want to, dip into the new issue, but like just yet. But like, Malcolm did actually go to Belco Chemicals in 197.
Right.
So it's kind of awesome because it was like, well, now it's a place he went. So, I don't know.
Definitely.
It's cool. It's good. It was fucking a hell of a year.
Yeah, and there's still other, villains that we were introduced to, like the Demonoids, which, kind of came out of nowhere, but they were in flashbacks, and then were kind of played a major role for a couple issues.
Waldo made his debut.
Does he got a wiki page yet?
Gavin, get on that Waldo wiki. First appearance, 199.
But we never saw the kind of the return of that weird shaman guy or whatever.
That hasn't happened yet.
Spoon's girlfriend her powers.
That was at the end of 193, right?
No, it wasn't.
Before, I want to say it was 192.
Was it just before the takeover or just after?
I think it was just before Malcolm took over, because I'm flipping through 193 right now, and 193 is when he punched out Baby Guy.
Right, Tantrum.
And then it just goes on from there. So no, I'm pretty sure he fought Spoon's girlfriend. She had a cool name. Why are we calling her Spoon's girlfriend?
I don't know. I don't remember her name. That's why off the top of my head.
It was like Goopy Lady or something like Goopy Gal or something like.
But from what I understand, he punched her and she kind of blew apart into goop, and there was kind of that hint that she'll be back.
She Terminated back together.
So we didn't see that this year. Maybe in 2015.
He was a power broker style character, like a guy you go to and get powers, which we haven't seen.
Yeah, she went up to like the Himalayan mountains or something.
I don't know. He struck me more of
like a Fonte wizard type dude, or
yeah, more like what? Was it the Fiend who gave people powers?
Fiend was the devil from hell.
Right.
Johnny Redbeard gave people powers. There was Power Broker gave people powers.
I thought the Power Broker and Johnny Redbeard was one and the same.
Oh shit, are they?
I think so.
No.
Power
Broker was like on the West Coast. Remember, there was the issue where Dragon bumped into him when he was doing the world tour, when he met Prism.
Yes.
And Power Broker had these like weird kind of like giant hands,
and he had
and I think he died like as soon as we met him. He was like, as soon as he was introduced, he was like killed in that issue. He was like shot in the head, right?
All right.
Real herringbone seed, that guy.
It was the kind of guy that you just always heard about.
I guess Johnny Redbeard was being called the Creator when he was a big guy.
Yes.
That was Erik trying to get away from like him just being a John Byrne spoof.
I thought he made him more of a John Byrne spoof by giving him a big head.
I guess you could interpret it that way, but
and then
I remember
creating a bunch of bad knockoffs.
I remember somewhere reading about that, though. I mean,
that whole issue is nothing but puns about how John Byrne is out of touch and doesn't do anything right.
I think you're on the right track, kind of though, Craig, because it's like if I'm remembering right, Johnny Redbeard was even designed to be like a red-bearded Zeus style character, but Erik didn't do that design because it showed up in a backup.
Right.
And then later, when Erik moved him away, he made him sort of like a MODOK character.
Yeah, once the Savage World kicked in the new universe, he became like a MODOK giant head character.
My back itches. No, I'm kidding. It's his motivation for evil.
So, in the kind of based on our time, to not make this episode 2 hours long.
Right. Time to trek along.
So what was you guys' favorite issues? Oh dear.
I think I mentioned it. What did I say? 194. I love the splash page and the twice up introduction.
Right.
And a couple of those pages. I think it was 197 with 196.
I think it was 197.
Was Herringbone Seed with Death in 196? I believe it was.
Yes.
Might have been 196. Yeah, it was.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I enjoyed that, and of course, 200.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed the hell out of 200 just because it took me like an hour to get through, and there was just so much to look at. It's just, it's a special issue that only comes around once, and that type of issue is once every 10 years almost.
Oh yeah, huge milestone. 200.
What about you guys?
200. I'm going to give it to 199.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I like 199 more than 200, at least main story-wise.
I could see that.
I enjoyed the splashes. It just went by too fast for me, and I think it's really hard to write a good story when you're doing all double-page splashes. I thought it was an awesome kind of experiment, and the art, of course, was spectacular, but the brevity, I guess, of it kind of didn't put it on the charts for me.
I see. That's fair enough. I don't know. I thought it did pretty well with what space it had.
Mm-hmm.
I do
awesome splashes though.
Yeah.
I was inspired by 199. I'm doing a big monster story like down the road, and I've decided that you got to have double page splashes for.
And for the listeners, when you say you're doing a monster, you have your own.
Oh yeah.
And some people are going to be new to this, and they're going to remember.
What the hell is this guy talking about? No, I just thought, I don't like to promote that too awful much, but I do make a little rag, and I have a giant story tale in the can, a giant monster story in the can, and I definitely, after reading 199, I was like, oh shit, I want to do this. It looks like super fun. So even though 199 I was inspired by, I got to give it 200 for the win, because it ended like with a cliche love triangle in such an awesome way. And obviously it's just a huge collection of badass tales, and it's giant, and it's super great, and it's a milestone. So
right.
200 gets a golden ring for me.
Sweet. Shall
we news?
I wanted to just ask if you guys read any other comics during 2014.
No, I'm just kidding.
Anything interesting this year, comic-wise, notable?
I don't even know. I'm sure there is.
I'm going to give...
You go first, Raven. I got to think about it.
Mine's real super easy. There's two things. They're both Kirkman books. These are the top high points of the other comics I read. Ooh, crap. Just real quick, 3. I hate this. Sorry, I'll be super quick. Invincible, the rape issue. I was like, yeah, that's kind of left field and surprising.
Was that this year?
I think it was.
It seems so long ago.
It does seem, but that's only because it feels like there's only been like 5 issues of Invincible this year. It's been crazy how late that book has been.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the rape issue was this year.
May have been.
And that was pretty bold choice, I thought. I liked the issue. The Walking Dead time jump, I thought was awesome.
Which I still have not read.
Oh shit, damn! I'm sorry, dude.
I know you keep telling me to give it a try, and I'm finally caught up on the war.
Okay, well,
it's just, there hasn't been a sale for the jump yet.
The beautiful thing was that I hated the end of the war. It was the most anticlimactic piece of garbage ever. It was wretched. And then, just like we were talking about with Dragon, the time jump comes in totally like boom, surprises.
How much did they jump by?
Not much. I read a couple of preview pages, and it looks like it's only been a few years.
Yeah, it's only a few years, but it's the kind of thing you don't see a lot in American comics.
Time jumps? Yeah.
So I was super excited and happy. It totally redeemed the series. I was like...
See, before I even looked into it, I kind of was hoping the jump would be a different set of characters, a different place, and like a long time in the future, like decades.
Unfortunately, you're losing the punch, because when you start reading that issue... they play with you like that a little tiny bit, so you don't know.
Yeah.
But then eventually you find out, it's still Rick and Carl and all those guys you know. Yeah. But unfortunately, you don't have that surprise. I mean, you've seen covers.
Yeah.
You know.
Now at this point, I've seen Jesus on the covers. So.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that surprise is gone for you, because that was something they messed with you a little bit. Because there's not a word balloon that says 7 years later. It's just, you're just reading, and you just. suddenly you don't know what the hell's going on because everything's so weird, and then you realize, oh shit, years have gone by.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Last thing, and then I'll shut up. Pax Americana was the high point of
Was it?
Multiversity. Yeah.
Oh.
I have.
Higher than Dino Cop?
I'm sorry. I love Dino Cop.
Who we have not seen enough of because he hasn't appeared again since the first issue.
I don't think he's going to appear again until the last issue.
Because that's kind of how it looks like it's structured.
But so far, Multiversity was not setting my world on fire, not Grant Morrison's strongest work. Pax Americana comes in and, again, just blew my mind. It was
more for Frank Quilty, right?
It was absolutely him. He does a lot of like Will Eisner style pages where the background's static but the characters are moving through the page.
Right.
Master level storytelling.
I heard that book, the way it was written, is you can read it forwards and backwards.
The beginning is the end, and the middle is the middle, and there's also a double page spread where 3 simultaneous scenes are playing out on the same 2 pages. There's before a murder, there's the moment of the murder, and then there's the murder investigation.
Right.
All 3 points in time are playing out simultaneously on 2 pages. It's insane.
Yeah.
Really, it's all quietly. I mean, it's good storytelling, but quietly just like, oh, dude, it's awesome. If you get a chance, get it. It's great.
Is it good as a standalone story, or does it tie in the Multiversity thing like the other issues
It's really standalone. You really don't even have to read any Multiversity anything. If you have read Watchmen, you will enjoy it because it's basically a ripoff.
Yeah,
it's a ripoff of Watchmen, but
well, it's complicated because Watchmen is based off of those characters, and so this is those characters through the Watchmen lens.
Exactly. But it's kind of cool. Like I said, when you first read it, you'll think, this is just confusing, and I don't understand anything. But then I had to reread it like 3 or 4 times to really like get every single like little nuanced storytelling. Like it's just jam packed, dude. And so it just really, it's 32 pages, so it's bigger than a normal issue.
Right.
But it's basically the entirety of Watchmen crammed into 32 pages. Plus it fits with this university. Plus it's a multiversity thing. Plus it's also just a good standalone story. It's awesome comic telling. It's great.
Well, I was a little let down by the first couple of issues of the Multiversity stuff, so I've been holding off for price drops.
Totally agree.
I'll be probably catching up with it next month. Although that frickin' Captain Marvel one looks good.
I'll tell you when I get it.
Okay. For me this year, I read a lot of comics this year. Big comics, best first issue for me was Kurt Busiek's new Tooth and Claw from Image.
Oh, yeah.
That was freaking amazing, that first issue.
I have it. I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Oh, man, that is like the perfect example of how you do a first issue. It builds up this whole universe fills it with characters and gives it history, and it feels like a living, breathing place. And then it just kind of turns everything on its head at the end, and it's just so well executed. I can't believe I almost skipped it.
I want to get in on it based on your recommendation, man.
Yeah, Busiek's been good this year. Astro City's been really good, too. I've always enjoyed that series, and this year's been really good in terms of story quality.
All right.
Probably my favorite new series is Jay Faber's Copperhead.
Yes, great. I had that on my list.
I've heard nothing about it.
You know, it's a sci-fi western.
Sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
It's really like a Western tale and just throw a bunch of aliens on it.
It looks great. I'll be honest, I didn't like his last series, Near Death. I thought it was a little bit plotting, and and the way he structured it was more every issue was like standalone, and it never felt like it was building to anything. So I didn't enjoy it very much, and eventually dropped it. But this is really, really good. It's like, I love Noble Causes. That was like one of my favorite series of all time. And while this is nothing like Noble Causes, it feels like that energy's there.
Yeah, I agree. And that's another one where you feel like, that this universe has kind of been around.
Right.
I
thought for sure, Jim, you were going to say Naruto ending.
Naruto's ending. That another amazing milestone reached. 700 chapters. Naruto's not very good. I did not enjoy that as much, but I did enjoy it far more than this other series that was running in Weekly Shonen Jump called how's it pronounced? Nayaskoi False Love, which is like this the worst. It's the worst harem manga I've ever read in my entire life, and I've read some bad ones.
That's bad. That's a bad genre.
It's like Ranma 1/2 without anything interesting happening ever, and a lot of creepy. Oh, actually, you know what? There is kind of a similarity to Savage Dragon there. There's this creepy not half sister relationship thing. Now that I think about it.
Nice.
His teacher, who's like 19 years old in high school, who lived with him when he was a child, and now she's creeping on him as a high school student. So it's a teacher, student, and a sort of sibling creepy thing. It's awful. It's awful.
You know what?
And I have to read it every freaking week because I'm the kind of person who reads every story in an anthology.
Like Selena Gomez says, the heart wants what it wants.
Ugh. But I will say, probably coming out of nowhere, my favorite single issue of 2014 was Mega Man 35.
Wow.
From Archie Comics.
Surprise.
You will believe a fighting cartoon robot can cry.
Don't make me cry, Jim.
It's just an amazing Asimov-esque. These are robots and they have semi-human emotions and they're dealing with some really heavy shit, being almost people. It
sounds way above Archie Comics paper.
No shit.
Yeah, right.
No
Mega
shit. Mega Man is consistently the best all ages book on the market. Period. Full stop.
I believe it might be the longest running, or is it Sonic? Which one's
No, that's Sonic.
Okay.
Sonic isn't as good as Mega Man, although they're both written by the same guy. But Sonic tries.
Okay.
Sonic also has some really fucked up things happen sometimes.
Okay. Well, it's good that they don't
that
write
deals
down.
with death a lot.
I mean, it's good that they don't write down.
Oh no. Especially that issue of Mega Man. And in the latest issue of Mega Man, there's been a lot of dealing with, like, see, when you're a fighting robot, you kill a lot of other robots, and that weighs heavy on Mega Man.
Okay. That is so much more awesome than it should be.
Yeah.
How much does like Mega Man sell? Like, is that a pretty popular comic?
I think it is, isn't it?
It's semi-popular. It's not as I believe Sonic the Hedgehog was one of Archie's best-selling, longest-running series, but sales have been down a lot lately. Archie's actually rejiggering their whole thing.
Is that a real word? Rejiggering?
Yes. They're relaunching Archie, the series, which has been running for like 700 issues, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, way to drop the ball, guys.
They're modernizing it, and they're that sort of thing. And I'm really looking forward to they're doing another Sonic Mega Man crossover this summer, and the last one was excellent. So
yeah, those look good. I mean,
they are good.
They really look good. Like a lot of thought. You can tell a lot of thought went into them. It's not just some cheap cash in.
Oh no, this and it went like what did it go like 9 issues across 3 series, and it was practically weekly last time. I expect it'll be similar this time. It was just how you do a crossover well. You take the best parts of 2 characters and you just let them do their thing. It's Ian Flynn, the writer on Mega Man and Sonic. He's just an expert at his craft.
Hell yeah, right on.
Cool.
Well, Craig?
So I'll go through my list real quick. I had a bunch that I've been reading. I've been enjoying this year. I thought it was a decent year for comics. Remenda's Black Science comic is...
You've been liking that?
Yeah, you don't enjoy that?
I read the first issue and I couldn't get the energy to continue.
It's just it's a kind of like story where every issue they're in a whole different alien landscape. They're just jumping from place to place. I like that.
It's like really like creepy, violent sliders, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, if you want to say that. Yeah, I can see that. Transformers versus G.I. Joe by Tom Scioli. I have no interest in Transformers or G.I. Joe normally, but he's making it fun. I played with the toys as a kid, and when you read it, I feel like I'm playing with the toys as like a 10-year-old. Like, it's just straight up fun, silliness. It's, I could see how it could be very dividing among fans of the comics, but I think it's pretty enjoyable.
I'm a couple issues behind, but I've also been enjoying it quite a lot.
I think it's a feast for the eyes. He's doing a lot of kind of funny, quirky things with panels and
captions and
yeah, it's just neat, just fun. Copra, of course, we always talk up on the show because it's freaking rad. Michel Fife's put out issue 13 through 18, so I thought he was going to take a longer break after putting out 12 issues, and he came back with another 6-issue arc, which kind of focused on the individual characters.
Is he still going? Or I thought he may have said that he was going to do it after 6.
No, he just finished with 18, and he just put out a subscription for 2015.
Isn't that awesome? I thought when he was like signed on with Marvel that he was going to just chill out.
Yeah.
He's still doing his thing. I was like,
he is so rad. And this new Copra, the past 13 through 18, each issue focuses on one member, and great stories. If anyone's out there knows the characters, issue 17 with Rax is just a feast for the eyes. Issue 18 with Xenia is pretty cool. The Lloyd issue, which is 13, just neat. If you're not reading it, go out and read it. They make a collected edition now. Fun stuff.
You can get it through Diamond even.
Yeah, and gorgeous art. It's not your typical superhero type art, and it's gorgeous. It's kind of like Kirby or Ditko through like an indie artist lens, and it's neat. That probably doesn't do it justice, but
also I'm pretty sure Ditko does indie comics.
I will say what does it justice. There's nobody making art like him that I can think of. I really can't think of anybody who's like, oh, it's like this. Fucking really, I can't think of anybody like it.
Well, Scully's probably the closest.
Still though.
I don't know. I don't think at all. Yeah,
real different.
I don't think it's close. But I'll go real quick just to wrap it up. Southern Bastards, awesome story. It's awesome like crime story by Image Comics. The Field, which was way off the radar, I think. It kind of snuck up on there. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
No.
It was
The Field. No, I haven't heard of that.
By Ed Brisson and Simon Roy, the artist of Prophet.
Okay. Now I remember what you're talking about.
Just a crazy little miniseries. It just came out of nowhere, and it's just really messed up. And I can't really say anything about it without giving anything away, really. But it's just like you read the first 3 or 4 issues, and you're just maybe it was 3 issues. I forget how many issues long it was, but at least 2/3 of it, and even maybe through the whole thing, you're just like, what the hell is going on? You don't understand until like the last couple of pages. Just amazing, violent, crazy stuff. And I also had Copperhead on my list, which Jim went through. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of other comics I've been reading, but those are the ones that kind of stood out to me.
Sweet.
So let's wrap this up and get to the Erik Larsen news.
All right.
So on our first issue, or first little bit of news of 2015, and this really came out of nowhere for me, Savage Dragon Legacy one-shot.
Yes.
Recently announced Savage Dragon one-shot titled Legacy. It's going to be a gold sponsor comic book title for this year's free comic book day event. That's going to be May 2nd, 2015. And I believe we have some solicitation. The generational saga of Savage Dragon reaches a new milestone as Malcolm Dragon graduates high school and follows in his father's footsteps to the Chicago Police Department. Every young new officer has a lot to live up to, but for the son of a world-famous figurine as renowned as he is reviled, navigating the world of law enforcement is especially challenging. The cost of failure is high in a city becoming more dangerous by the day. Can Malcolm step out of his father's shadow and become the hero Chicago needs, or is he doomed to make the same mistakes?
Famous figurine, eh?
That's it, famous figurine.
It's quite exciting. I'm wondering if this is going to be reprinted as an issue like the last time he did this.
He said he was going to be reprinted at some point, like probably it's like a backup or something like that.
Okay.
On Facebook, so that if you don't get free comics, a free comic book day like overseas or something, that you'll still be able to read the story.
Right. Well, I mean, last time with the Dragon Daredevil, they came out as a free comic book day, and it was the main story of the regular issue.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure.
This time it sounds more like it'll be more contained as a one shot, probably reprinted in the trade, maybe, because it is probably important to the main story.
Gotcha.
No, it sounds really interesting. It's funny he's graduating high school so soon, though. Although I guess he's been in high school for a while.
I think he'll be 18 this year.
Yeah, it's based on real time, so don't think of it issue-wise.
Yeah. Becoming a cop's kind of an interesting twist. It's one of those things where on the surface it kind of seems like it's taking a step back, like, when Back in Blue happened, but we all know how Back in Blue ended up.
Yeah,
Right.
So
Back in Blue for like 5 minutes.
yeah. So anything's possible here.
I think it's a genius kind of a play because even though Savage Dragon was not really hardly a cop for most of his career, most of the series, for some reason, people always think of Savage Dragon as a cop. So if you have Savage Dragon Legacy, you kind of let the cop, Savage Dragon the cop, you let the people who still are in Savage Dragon's a cop mode know, hey, he's got a son, he's a cop, at least
They see it and they go, Savage Dragon, the cop.
Yeah, exactly. So at least be a little bit of like bait. And I know at least at my comic shop, the Daredevil comic went over great. People really liked
That's
it.
cool.
So
Cool.
I think this is smart.
Yeah. So next bit of news.
Oh, yes. Erik Larsen fan group and official Savage Dragon group page were recently launched on Facebook. You can find it at facebook.com/group/Erik Larsen fans, all one word.
Yeah, and that's basically that fan group was started. I think the discussion forums were down, and Simon Millette, who does the Average Dragon strip, started that group page, and it seemed like it gained a little momentum when the boards were down, and now it's kind of a full force thing. We got a couple of creators come on.
That's good.
And talk, and yeah, it's just an easy way to communicate on Facebook. And then
we know how fickle that image board can be sometimes.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's just easier to like kind of post images and replies and stuff like that with Facebook, and so that was cool.
I kind of hate Facebook.
Yeah,
I will say I've been enjoying seeing like people's rare things they have.
Well, I think the good thing about Facebook is that you kind of have to go out of your way to go to the forums, but Facebook, you're gonna check it. Like a lot of people just check it anyway, and it's more apt to have people kind of come in. Within like 5 days or something, like a week or 2 weeks, we got like 100 members. And it's like on the forums nowadays, you're lucky to see like 10 different people.
Well, that's true. I won't disagree. I'm just saying, as a communication tool, I hate Facebook because you can't have a discussion for more than 5 minutes before it falls off.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of pros joining in on the conversations too, which is cool. And then shortly after that, Erik joined in, and then he started one just for Savage Dragon. So there's the Erik Larsen fan group page, which you gave that address to, and then Erik started a Savage Dragon one, and he's on both of the groups. The Savage Dragon page doesn't have like a good name. It's kind of like a bunch of jumbled letters after Facebook.com. So if you go to the Erik Larsen fan group page, there's a pinned post at the top that links to the Erik Larsen Savage Dragon page as well. So you can reach both by going to the link that you supplied. Sorry. And then last bit of news, just real quick, Erik mentioned that Savage Dragon 202 was going to be another kind of experimental issue where he was going to do a 9-panel per page issue with each page having a different configuration of the 9 panels.
And hilariously, this was inspired by an incorrect internet meme. There's the internet meme of Batman slapping Robin in the face.
Okay.
And people exchange the word balloons above Robin and Batman's head to say things. Typically, Robin says something incorrect. Batman says the correct thing. The slap goes with it.
This is the one like the Hal Jordan one where he's punching?
Yeah, kind of like that. And the funny thing is like the meme originally said Robin was saying something like, here's my idea for a 9-panel grid. On the big shot, first you, and then, he's interrupted, of course, because he's getting slapped. Batman's like, fool, you can't do a big shot on a 9-panel grid. Which, of course, Larsen was like, well, duh, yeah, you can. You just make the other panels smaller.
Right.
So, internet meme. Whoever made this incorrect internet meme,
I'll show them.
Good job. You forever altered Savage Dragon history.
Wow, that's obscure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, and it was funny too because when we were talking to Erik last episode, we were like, "You got any other experiments that you want to do or anything?" And he was like, "No, not right now." You know, so it definitely just kind of popped up out of nowhere.
It's top of his head, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's jump into the trivia. We'll get through this quick. We didn't do trivia last episode, but episode 34 we did. We still haven't awarded a winner. So the question of that for that episode was, name the deceased Vicious Circle member who briefly starred in a TV show based on Dragon's exploits as a cop. And we had two people write in. Will Poe, he wrote, Dear Craig, Jim, and Raven, the Chicago Bull, where's my prize? Savage Dragon fan forever.
Love it.
That's correct. Yep. And we also had Matt Hickman write in, and he wrote, love the show. Which Vicious Circle member starred in a show about Dragon? That would be the Chicago Bull. I believe he first showed up in the Dragon cartoon, and he's killed in issue 24 and made it into the newcomer special. But do you guys know what he means by the newcomer special?
That's the burger that Batman ate.
Oh, all right. That's right. I'm thinking like a comic. Like he made it into like, I'm like, what's the newcomer special comic? That's right. Yeah, that's right. That was a genius gag. So I tossed a coin up in the air and Will Poe won. He wins a copy of G-Man Learning to Fly, trade paperback, which includes the Savage Dragon G-Man crossover story. And I had Chris Giarusso sign and sketch a G-Man on the inside cover. So, Will, hope you enjoy. Thanks for writing in. And now, as trying to do something new, we're going to discontinue the trivia for a bit and try out a new segment, which doesn't quite have a name yet. But my idea for this new segment is that we as the hosts will pose a question to the other hosts from either a listener who has written in with a question or from one of us if we don't like the listener questions. But it'll be a specific question each month that we'd have like a roundtable discussion about. Listeners are encouraged to write to us with a question for the next episode of their own, or write in about their opinion about the question we discussed. And any of your questions and comments sent to us will be read on the next episode, and we'll choose a winner from everyone who wrote in to receive a Savage Dragon related prize.
In addition, I'm going to try and bust this out real quick, but we'll have I'm working on a Savage Dragon t-shirt theme there's only going to be one per year. So when you win this sort of thing, or the contest that we do, whether it's trivia or this opinion segment that we're starting, you will be, you'll tell us your t-shirt size and we'll get you a one-of-a-kind t-shirt that's just related to this year. Like when we go into 2016, we're going to retire the old design. So that'll just be a little extra incentive for you listeners. You'll have a one-of-a-kind, super limited edition t-shirt that only listeners of the show can have.
So it'll be limited to like 12 t-shirts a year or something like that, of the same design until the next year.
That's it.
That's pretty awesome. Can't wait to see what that's going to look like.
We're going to bust it out and put the design up on dragonfan.net. It'll make its way to our various Facebooks, Twitters, all that good stuff.
So to be clear, they're going to send us questions that we are going to discuss.
Well, I think we can work either way, and we'll talk about it. And I think this segment is a work in progress, but I was going to start off this segment with a question and pose it to you guys. And then we're going to ask listeners, they can either chime in with their own opinion on our question or our discussion, or they can send us a question for the next segment. And if we choose their question or read their comments or whatever, they'd be entered into the drawing for the prize, and we'd pick a person based on that. So it sounds a little complicated. Let's go through, we'll go through the first question, and then I'll just kind of repeat the instructions for the listeners on what they need to do.
All right.
But the question I pose to you guys for this episode is, who is your least favorite kind of major character in the Savage Dragon series over the long run? Like, which character? I'm not talking about a guy that showed up for a few panels or a Vicious Circle guy that, never said anything, but of the kind of major players in the book, who has been your kind of least favorite character, and why would you? Why?
I can already see how this is going to skew.
Oh, I know.
Go ahead.
Do we answer?
Well, I mean, everyone has their own opinion.
I know right away. I don't like Jennifer.
Ugh, I knew it. I guessed it.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never liked Jennifer. She was just not. She was just so whiny and naggy, and it's just so not fun. It had to be a purely physical relationship.
I don't know. I always kind of had a soft spot for Jennifer. I always thought she was poorly used, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I always put it more to the writing than the character.
Yeah.
She always came off as weaker than she should have been. And unfortunately, I kind of think that Angel's starting to fall into that too, which frustrates me to no end.
Must be genetic.
Well, with issue 200, I think someone pointed out in like a review that I read, it seemed like every story, Angel was kind of like the damsel in distress.
That's my biggest problem, is that she gives up all the fucking time, and it doesn't make any sense unless she's like become really nihilistic.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom was a loser. I'm just saying, like, it fits.
Yeah, I agree with you, Raven. I think even Erik said it when we talked to him about Maxine. He just said, he tried everything with Jennifer and it just never clicked. I mean, you look at all the other female characters or girlfriends of Dragon, and they all had personalities, Alex, even Meter Maid was kind of quirky and funny, and she was always like freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the name of, who was the black the African American lady. No, not Rapture, the other one.
I liked her. Yeah, the normal girl, right? That he dated for like 2 issues.
Yeah. Even she clicked. Rapture clicked. Rapture had her own thing. They were just, and then Jennifer came along, and it was just like, I just felt like she didn't have a personality.
Yeah.
And she just stuck around, and it was just like,
I just wanted her to get killed so quick.
And then she came back,
I was like, damn it. Jennifer.
So that's gonna be my least favorite character, and I'm so glad that, with Malcolm, he's kind of just, Erik's kind of knocked it out of the park with this Maxine character. So to have like a female kind of supporting character, a girlfriend or wife or whatever that really clicks is nice.
Easily as interesting as Malcolm. She's easily as interesting as Malcolm, and that's awesome.
Yeah. So Jim, who's your least favorite character then? If
not Jennifer, who?
Obviously.
I was thinking about it, and I want to say, oh shoot, I had it. Now it's gone. Trouble is, I find interest in like every character, so that's not really an answer. That's more of dodging the question.
Right.
Oh, who was it? Shit, I had somebody. Oh, Hercules.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I've never really cared about Hercules at all.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I could see that.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I like the gods, and I like the other gods. I like Thor a lot, and I like the guy with the skis a lot, and I like, but something about Hercules, he's just, I don't know. He's I guess he's kind of like how you guys see Jennifer. He's just such a straight-laced,
but I think
just kind of boring guy.
I think that's the whole thing about Hercules, though. He's supposed to be kind of a stiff dude.
And isn't it funny that Hercules and Jennifer hooked up in that one?
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Perfect. You boring bastards.
Cool. Well, yeah, that's interesting. I think, for the sake of time, we'll just kind of shorten this a little bit.
You're also going with Jennifer?
Yeah, I went with Jennifer. But for the listeners out there, we, like I said, we'd like to hear your comments on that and who your least favorite characters. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Do you have someone else in mind? Send us an email, let us know, or send us an email with a question to pose for us next episode. And like I said, we'll choose one winner to receive a prize from everyone that writes in, either with a comment or a question for us for next episode.
The shirt will be ready by next episode. So
nice. And so you win a limited edition FINcast shirt or a Savage Dragon shirt. I don't know if you're actually going to make it a FINcast shirt or anything like that, but you'll also win the rare second printing of Savage Dragon 100. So write to us and let us know your opinion.
Sweet.
And let's see how this new segment works out.
I like it so far.
So, yeah. So let's get down to the discussion of 201.
All right. 201. Well,
2001. You jumped a few.
201. What you guys? I mean, from the very get-go, the cover's amazing.
I think the cover is one of the coolest covers in a long time. Just the detail. I love when Erik goes all crazy with detail.
Love that perspective. Like just wonky, like everything.
Dart jumping to her death.
It's good. And from the very get-go, like you see like the prison escape, and it's just Dart being a total badass. John Day execution right off the bat. I'm like, oh, it's good.
Jim, what did you guess? How Dart was going to escape or something? I know you mentioned.
Kind of maybe accidentally guessed. I basically said right after that scene to end, she walked through a wall, which looks kind of like what happened.
Shawshank Redemption. She climbed.
Oh, right. Actually, no, I guess she is coming out of a shit pipe, isn't she?
Climbed out of the shitter. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. The panel's kind of dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like out of a swamp, or I see the shitter pipe there.
Is that John Day? Does John Day walk?
John.
Yep.
John having a bad day.
So, I mean, obviously, if you're listening to the FINcast, you've already know what's going to happen, so we're not spoiling anything. But let me know if this was your take on it. My take is she escaped the prison because the freak out turned her into that monster.
Oh, yeah.
That's why her clothes are all shredded out, and now she's like kind of like the Hulk, like she's back to human form.
That's freak out. Oh, right, freak out. Because freak out's a thing. You mean she had an episode.
No, like
she turned into a shark.
She took freak out. Like
I don't think that has to do with
not freak out. What's freak out?
Freak out gets rid of your power.
Gets rid of it.
Gotcha. So she drank some kind of Belco chemical.
No, I'm pretty sure she was bitten by a radioactive shark man.
That's exactly what happened. They say it in the issue. Yeah.
They do. Well,
I thought he was just joking. That's really because
well, no, they don't know. I mean, that's a guess, and it seems like the most logical to me.
It's kind of like how Peter Parker got his powers. Mako.
So you really think was it Mako that bit her?
Yeah, remember she sticks her arm in his mouth with the sword to kill him.
But I find that weird because like Super Patriot never changed.
But here's the difference.
He was already superhuman.
I thought about this too. I've had time to think about it. Right. So they specifically say it's like it's the blood thing. Like Mako bit her and she like killed him at the same time. His blood went in her blood, so it's like. Yes, there was radioactive shark bite, but remember the shark mauling Mako at Ground Zero? They never went into it, but him getting mauled at Ground Zero, it's kind of like, well, clearly a shark bite can give Mako's sort of like freak ability to the victim.
Right.
And so here we have Dart has stabbed Mako. She's also getting bit. There's sort of a radioactive bite / blood transfusion. I think that's how it rolled out. That's how I interpret it.
Oh, see, this whole time I thought that was Malcolm joking when he kind of jokes about it. I thought like she was given some kind of Belco chemical to help her.
To be fair, Malcolm could just be joking because a scientist has not declared that this is fact.
Oh, right. I mean, this is only what I took from it. I think that's it.
I mean, wasn't there a character who got mauled by Mako way back in the early days? He got a wheelchair. What's the fuck's his name?
Didn't Dragon get mauled too or something? No.
Oh yeah, but again, he's already able with powers. If you already have powers, you can't become more powered, I guess.
Right.
My thing is this: I will say, and then I guess we'll have to admit that there's a bit of confusion to it. Then, because I mean, it's not 100% clear, and she does clearly head to Belco to get something. So, when I first read it, I thought she was going to get those powers.
Well, she might be going there to get freak out or something like that. So wouldn't that get rid of that? I mean, she'd turn back to normal because she's not a superhuman person at all anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like the way I first read it, I read it like she was going to get cured of her Mako thing.
Gotcha.
Because she says, what happened to me? She busts out of the shitter pipe, comes out, she's like, kills the John Day, then looks in the mirror and says, what happened to me? So to me, upon second reading, I was like, well, okay, it's not that she was going to have, Belco dude turn her into like a Mako guy or a shark monster or whatever. It's that she had a shark like episode, like Jim said.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how she escaped.
Right. And when you take those Belco chemicals, you don't turn back.
You also aren't necessarily like, remember Malcolm went berserk.
Yeah.
So you're also not necessarily in charge of your facilities, but.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see as
as it rolls on. It's definitely an interesting twist to the character.
Oh, I love it.
What with her history with Mako and all that.
Well, but it does seem weird that it took so long for it to kick in as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We get a little continuation of the backup story from issue 200, where we're seeing Angel and Daredevil kind of finishing off those trolls, and clearly they're like in love now.
Fleeting.
Yeah. And I thought the scene after that was one of the cooler scenes in the book, with Frank Jr. and Malcolm kind of having a talk as Frank's patrolling the streets of Chicago.
They get 2 whole pages to catch up.
Yeah, and Eric's really knocking out of the park with the background shots, with like
definitely
just making you feel like it's Chicago with the the raised train tracks and stuff like that.
Definitely wants to say that, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of get the sense that the photography trip he took is really played into these scenes. With like that very last panel on the second page, you kind of see the raised train tracks with the stairs going up.
Yeah.
I think we said it in the past thing, but I really like how it's kind of pushing Chicago away from generic city.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my favorite plot twist. Maxine recorded the menage a trois.
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, not to skip ahead, though, I did want to touch on it. I think we're going to see the first divorce in the pages of Savage Dragon. I mean, we've seen...
The first?
Right?
Really?
We've seen marriages, we've seen births, we've seen, whatever, but have we seen characters ever get divorced?
You know what's funny? I don't think there has been one yet.
Yeah, everyone dies so much.
Yeah, good point.
So Frank Jr. and Tiara getting divorced.
Good call.
But anyway, yeah. Sorry to go back to your point. Yeah, Maxine, what a character, huh?
What the hell is going on with this girl?
She's awesome. That's what.
I don't know if that's the word I'd use.
She's awesome.
Her judgment seems to be slightly impaired. Are we sure she's not the imposter?
Trying to blackmail. Well, and that's the thing, if you're a fan of Savage Dragon, you've seen, the upcoming covers. Isn't it like 205 or 204 that's got like Angel like punching Malcolm?
Yep. With Maxine in the background, like, no.
Spoiler, sorry.
Oh.
I don't think I've seen that cover.
Oh, yeah. Looks awesome.
I'll have to look it up.
So there's going to be some complications, I think, because of that video.
People weren't happy about some people weren't happy about the menage a trois, but I will say that, I mean, kind of just from a reader standpoint, that such a poor decision, because as awesome as it was, it's totally a bad decision.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know that, like, it's just going to create terrible drama down the road.
Well, you know what I don't get? Like, the people that complained about that, like, the only thing I don't get about that is, like people so put off, oh, it's so juvenile and stuff. It's like, have you read much of Savage Dragon? I mean, that's far from the worst thing that was shown in the pages of Savage Dragon,
I will also say, have you not been a juvenile? I mean, were we not in the exact scenario? I mean...
But it's like, it's not like this is something new in the pages of Savage Dragon. There's been sex scenes and some raunchy stuff.
I don't think it has to do with the sex, though. The problem isn't the sex. The problem is the sister angle.
Yeah.
I think that's what got people hung up a little bit. And as much as you want to justify it, there is a little bit of a creep factor in there. Just a little bit.
And I think
that's kind of the point.
It's a terrible... The thing is, it's clearly a bad decision, and it's like Malcolm has not been his dad was never a master of good choices.
Right. I think it should be more what's the word before? Justified by these are all kids with very little parental guidance.
Bingo.
So they're going to be making really, really bad mistakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's exactly what any teenager, not a 20-something, 30-something adult who has life experience, who knows no matter how awesome that would be at the moment, you're going to mess up your life a little bit. You can't kick your sister out of your life, and then you've got this girl that's like the girl of your dreams. You're making a terrible choice.
Right.
But, he's a teenager, so there you go.
So what'd you guys think about the reappearance of Belco Chemicals?
I'm actually thrilled that we now have faces to put to this corporation.
Yeah.
People I can either root against or love.
Melvin Belco.
So kooky. Such a kooky little guy.
I don't know if you guys ever read like
he is Mr. Belco. I missed that part.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he is Melvin Belco.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have read old issues of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, like from the Fourth World stuff that Jack Kirby did. But in that book, there's the Evil Factory, which was like Dark Lord created the Evil Factory on Earth to do like DNA experiments, and this lab reminds me exactly of those scenes in that book, and I'm wondering if Erik was going after that vibe, with like weird test tube things with monsters kind of swimming through them and stuff like that.
Does it mirror? Or does that one look like Chaos?
Yeah, a little bit.
Which one?
The orange one.
Yeah,
you can't see his head though.
I love this whole like giant like evil laboratory, and they think they're doing good.
I love Erik's like little kind of caricature type people.
Excelsior! I laughed out loud when I read that. I was like, perfect.
I will say that one Asian guy's neck gets really, really thin.
Yeah. Oh, it's great, though. If you're a supporting character in Savage Dragon, you're probably going to be hideous.
Yeah. I love how Dart comes in and just destroys the place. And it looks like she's kind of like... I think it's kind of cool, and I think we're going to see this next issue, is that she's kind of like making the Vicious Circle kind of like an all-female force, or at least her main kind of
and I'm all for
henchman.
That.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Women are always more interesting than men.
What are you talking about?
Like, you legitimately asking me that question?
No. I don't want to go down that path.
No, it's good. I love the idea of the female. It's just something new. I mean, 200 issues, and we still haven't seen something like an all-female Vicious Circle. So it's badass.
Right.
I love this little sequence of just the haters. They're hating on Malcolm, never trying to like make moves on him, and then dip along to the whole like Belco getting smashed up good, It's awesome stuff. Good action.
And as soon as we think that, Daredevil and Angel are in love, it's like you get that scene where she's just kind of just creeped out about him. Like I get the sense that he's just like overly annoying to her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there might be something else going on.
I can't wait to see. I'm with you, Jim, because it kind of like seems like, creepy. Creepy is a good word, because it's like he could just be creepy because he's an old-timey guy.
Yeah.
But
I think she may not like men very much.
Oh, is that what you meant?
That's kind of what I'm getting at. I think maybe
I didn't even think of that, but maybe you're right.
I thought.
Now that she's been with Maxine, maybe she's beginning to realize that maybe men aren't for her.
I hope that's right.
That would be crazy. That Maxine leaves Malcolm, and it's Angel
for
Maxine.
Angel. That would be the best.
It would backfire so hard on him, and like.
Well,
that would be interesting.
Maxine is pretty clearly bisexual.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Since she was the one so eager.
Yeah.
To get Angel in bed.
Yeah, good. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
I didn't think. Yeah, that is a good point.
I thought that a grown man that throws boomerangs and hangs out with 3 kids is creepy.
Yeah.
So I was like, creepy. I get it.
Yeah.
Good point, Jim. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. We get a great battle scene between Malcolm and Dart in this one. I love the scene where Malcolm kind of catches the darts between his fingers.
I love how sarcastic he is about it. Look at that face.
I love the wisecracking.
He's got like a different tone now than his dad. He likes to put words in his opponent's mouths in the most sarcastic way possible. He's been doing that a lot.
Isn't that pretty crazy how Erik can do that? Like switch that up and go from, put a different tone. Because obviously the characters aren't real, so you got to like really think about what you're going to make them say. And he's been doing a real good job kind of giving Malcolm a different voice than Dragon, because I could see how it could be easy to fall into that trap.
He's like narrating. He's like, oh no, darts! She's reaching for her darts. I am so screwed. Whatever can I do?
It's so awesome because it's totally different. Dragon was very much a one-liner type of dude,
Right.
And this is like quipping and sarcastic quipping. It's totally different. Like you said, it's his own unique voice. It's awesome. I was like, oh, that's great. And again, it uses my favorite, the rarely used Chosen One powers, like super aiming. It makes perfect sense he'd be able to catch those darts.
But it's so funny because he was being sarcastic the whole time. I really thought he was being sarcastic about the Mako thing, but I don't think he is. Like, when talking to you guys now, I think you're right. I mean, because she does look like a shark, and
Also,
it makes sense.
you gotta wonder, like Jim said, Mako is so horrible in Dart's life. Why would she choose to become a shark monster?
Yeah.
So I gotta say, I think she didn't mean to become. I think she was there for Freakout.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because she says earlier, what does she say? She says, things that would make both of our lives better if you know what and then she gets cut off because he hits the alarm.
I also want to point out that the two we were talking about, it seems that it came out of nowhere. The two Vicious Circle female members that are still there are like, whoa, they're shocked when they see Shark Dart.
Yeah, there's definitely a new development.
Yeah, they're surprised. So this means that either this is something that only recently manifested, or she's totally been hiding it from the Vicious Circle this whole time.
I'm guessing hiding, at least.
I don't know if she's been hiding because she's like, what's happened to me?
Oh,
in the
that's
beginning?
right.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
that
yeah.
was the first time it happened.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this is the first time.
Okay, yeah, good. I like talking it over. I don't think these things that way. It's good.
But I love the scene where Bilko Chemicals just freaking explodes. You see Dart go flying, and then you just see, Malcolm's disappeared, and then it's like 3 days later, he kind of climbs out of like a snow patch.
That is
like
hilarious.
miles away. Although I gotta say, like, the battery on his cell phone lasts a long
that was
time.
my initial thought too. Man, that smartphone's got a good battery.
If he had a BlackBerry, he'd be okay. I had a BlackBerry, and it used to last like a week. I got a new cell phone recently, like an HTC something. It doesn't last a day.
No.
So Malcolm must be rocking it old school.
Nice. So, just to skip kind of towards the end, because Malcolm kind of leaps back and goes back to see Maxine. I love the way this issue ends. It's a throwback to Savage Dragon of yore, kind of like, you get Malcolm kind of hears the shower running, and he jumps in to surprise Maxine, and it's Tiara there. Of course, reading in the beginning of the book, we heard how, like, from Frank, how Tiara was kind of crashing on couch to couch. So
yeah.
Apparently, while Malcolm was gone, Maxine let her crash on the couch, and
the couch. That was your first assumption.
Oh, well, maybe not. Yeah, I didn't even see. I'm not even thinking that way.
What's funny?
Dirty mind.
I
Jim.
totally thought that way. I was like, come on, Maxine.
She can't get enough. She's sex crazy.
Just want a little brown sugar.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, but so it reminded me of that scene when like Dragon opens the door to Rapture, and Rita Metermaid's kind of jumping out of the shower. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I forget which issue. It kind of was like a throwback to that for me, and I enjoyed those old Savage Dragon issues where he had this weird kind of misunderstanding between Rapture and Dragon about other girls hitting on him and stuff like that, and this was kind of a cool thing, this crazy love triangle thing going on. I think Erik's really hitting his groove with these relationships. I think he writes good kind of uncomfortable situations.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be terrible. This is gonna like be so crappy.
Yeah, it just feels like the book's clicking with this scene and everything to me. It just, even more with what Jim brought up with, maybe Angel's, a lesbian or something like that, and maybe she's falling for Maxine now that she had that threesome or something.
Because she was very complimentary of Maxine. She was like, oh, Maxine's a real firecracker, all that stuff. So yeah, puts a whole new twist on that. I never even thought of it.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on with a lot of different, relationships now in this book. So, yeah. So, guys, I got a boogie.
All right, brother.
right.
You're going to have to do the Vanguard section without me.
No.
Can do.
So,
any last thoughts?
Last thoughts were I enjoyed 201 immensely. Again, like I said, I think Erik's firing on all cylinders. I think this new direction with Malcolm was the right choice. I know there's some people out there pretty vocal that don't like Malcolm and wish Dragon were back, and I think that's just people that can't deal with change. But I'm enjoying this. You can tell that Erik is kind of, I wouldn't say got his groove back, because I always enjoyed Savage Dragon, but just has got a little more fire in this with the new character and the new cast.
Co-signed. Totally agree.
Alrighty, guys. I'll see you in another month. I enjoyed speaking with you.
All right, man.
Talk to you later, Craig.
Good talking Dragon with you.
You too. See you guys.
Yeah, going straight into Vanguard.
I really like Vanguard. That little intro where they're talking about, the 3 dead civilizations and the empty floating, so atmospheric. That's good stuff.
It is good stuff. And I'm glad he took a moment just to kind of recap the whole situation here.
Yeah.
It kind of brings everything, to the, all this stuff's been boiling in the background if you've been paying attention, all the dialogue, but this really kind of reminds you of the stakes.
And again, it's like there's so many balls in the air, that it really was nice. I mean, it's funny. It just, as soon as I read all that stuff, it just really re-cemented it, and it just created such an awesome atmosphere for this moment that's happening with Death Watch. I was like, oh, dude, it's good. It's so good. I just want to really drop props on the writing there.
Also, from the looks of it, they've expanded their story another issue.
Yeah.
Because I think we had two installments in 200, and I remember Frank said that they were going to cram 3 in if they could,
and then
conclude it. But now this is the 3rd, and it's still going. So
an oversized epic conclusion. Mm-hmm. I always love when you see those. It's and it's funny because sometimes the mainstream guys will do that. They call their shots as good as they can, but sometimes you'll see issue 13 of 12.
Yeah.
And where they realize they just had to push it another issue. So I guess that's what happened, which, hey, the way this read, good, let it breathe.
Yeah, let it breathe is my rule.
Totally. This was awesome. I love the twist of him coming back through Morph.
Lurch.
Morph.
They're called morphlings, I think.
Lurch. I love the twist of him coming back through Lurch, and then, Lurch has been going through this whole struggle. With everything anyway, so it was such an awesome twist, because now the real crux, the fate of the climax of this story is really, can Lurch duke it out with the personalities inside him. It's good. It's good stuff. Frank, you did an amazing job. Fantastic stuff going on here. I love the sort of sequences where Lurch is sort of half, I'm looking at the page right now where he's half Death Watch, half himself.
Right.
It's good stuff. And then I never thought I would care about Modem.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the more interesting characters here.
And she stepped up. She's really helped save the day here in a big way.
I really like how when Death Watch gets reverted to his human form.
Yeah, just naked and all embarrassed and pitiful. It's good. It's so good. This was such a good backup. I don't always, and it has nothing to do with Vanguard as a character or the art or the writing. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that I don't always click with Vanguard as strongly as, say, the main story or something. But okay. I've really been loving this little arc they've been doing. It's just been fantastic.
Yeah, this has been good. I my biggest worry is Lurch, because he has kind of become my breakout favorite character, just because of how complex he can be.
He's going through some stuff.
Yeah, and Modem being, I did kind of think that they making Death Watch responsible for all of the stuff that went on with the robots, with the mechs. I think that kind of cleans their hands a little bit too easily.
Yeah, I see where you're going with it. I like the idea, though, that he was I don't know, it's hard because I see what you're saying. At the same time, I really love the idea of here's this guy who's a master manipulator and was just hiding behind the scenes pulling. That's always kind of something I think is cool. So, I don't know, I see where you're going, but I also really dig it, so it's tough.
Yeah. But the Punch-Out ending here, of course, Modem, the mechs, and Lurch all stay behind because they need to get rid of the, Death Watch's taint. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Modem's okay because I know she can go intangible
Right.
by going through computer circuitry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure she's okay, but hopefully Lurch gets out alive.
Yeah, we'll see. You know the hive mind is fine because they're not actually in that ship.
Right.
So yeah.
Although we did have a close call with Wally already in the previous serial, so you got to wonder if they won't pull that card again.
We'll see. I mean, it's interesting, and it's really, like I said, some of the strongest Vanguard stuff to date, I think.
Right.
Just for me, just my own personal mileage. So, yeah, hats off to Gary and Frank. Absolutely killer stuff.
Yep.
Awesome 201. Looks like we're off to a good start for 2015.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks like things are going to be okay.
Well, I don't know. You got anything else you want to jibble-jabble, or shall we wrap it up?
I think it's about time to wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. In Savage Dragon 202, stripped of his lightning powers, Malcolm Dragon finds that he can no longer rely on the one thing that kept him alive. Now he faces his most fearsome challenge yet, at a time when he's most vulnerable. Malcolm Dragon fights the deadly damsels of the Vicious Circle: Raptor, Vane, Samurai, Insect, Tigress, Volcanic, Climax, Double Page. And it's going to be a kick-ass issue.
I don't think I read the solicitation on this one. What's the cover?
It is Girl Trouble. It's the one where Malcolm is fighting all the ladies of the Vicious Circle.
I don't think I've seen that cover either. Jesus, I'm out of the loop.
It is a nice cover.
Is it on the Facebook?
I will make sure. Pretty sure it's at Dragon Fan, but if it's not, it will be up at Dragon Fan. It is also on Facebook. And just a quick double check, see if it is on the Funny Books off the site. Cracka Yakka Schmacka. Let's see. Yes, it is. If you want to see
Neutron Bob
202 is the cover. So yeah, that's him fighting all the ladies of the Vicious Circle. It's cool. It's a good cover. It's awesome. He went with Knockout White, which is super good for this very busy cover of all these characters. So it's gonna be great. It looks fantastic, especially in light of the issues with Dart, and you don't know how the Vicious Circle is going to react to this new development with her shark abilities. Seeing all of the Vicious Circle fighting Malcolm.
I wonder if Maxine will have sex with all of them.
Wouldn't that be the plot twist to end it?
Yeah.
Ladies, they just go into the bedroom like a clown car. Oh, let's hope that's the twist. So yeah, it's gonna be an awesome issue, I think.
It is.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
See.
Remember to send us letters. We really want to hear from you guys, especially if you got questions that you want us to talk about on the show.
And there's a sweet T-shirt in it for you, and Craig always brings it with the amazing prizes and stuff. So.
Indeed. Remember, our email address is savagefincast@gmail.com.
Thanks again, guys.
Thanks again. The Savage FINcast is a member of the Gutter Trash Podcast Network, which can be found at guttertrash.net. The Savage FINcast is part of the Comics Podcast Network, which can be found at comicspodcast.com. Also, find us on YouTube at youtube.com/user/SavageFincast.